Hello everyone, I'm here today to help you all work through your data analysis guide teacher and where you can find all of your information. And so if everyone will log into Eduphoria, and you're going to log in and you're going to get this screen right here. You're going to click on Aware. Actually, let me back up a second. So when you get your data sheet, it's going to look like this, and I have split it into 3 different color groups: purple, blue, and green. And so you're going to have to go to 3 different places to get this information. So the first one I'm showing you is the purple. All right, so the yellow that you see on my screen, these are the goals that were set for you that you received last week at the accountability training. They were in your manila folder that I gave you, so that's where you're going to find that information. Okay, so in Aware, you're going to go to all my students. Come on. Okay, district test. In this case, I'm going to click on English Language Arts. You would click on your assessment, 1920, 6th grade. And then put this down so y'all can't see the students' names. I'm going to click on the assessment that I'm looking at. And so it's going to give me a list of all my students' names and their scores. Okay? But what I'm needing is my overall percentages for all African American, Hispanic, white, for meets, masters, and approaches. Okay? So in order to find that screen, I'm going to come up here to the little red person, and that is teacher summary. Okay? So it's going to look like this. Okay? And if I lift this up, you can see the teacher's name. So in this case, it would be Miss Renfro. These are not her scores, so this means nothing to anyone because this is a literacy test, not hers. But you will see her name along with approaches, meets, and masters, and each sub-pop. So this is where you're going to find the information you need for the purple area, these 3 columns. Okay? So that's part 1. Part 2 would be this blue area, and that's looking at the different questions and finding your questions that your group of kids were the lowest on, and then your questions that your kids were the highest on. Okay? So in order to find that, you're going to go back to Eduphoria, and you're going to click up here where it says student scores. You're going to click on student individual responses. Ooh, that's blurry. Okay. So it's going to give you all of your kids, but once again, you're not wanting all of your kids. You're wanting to see all of your kids combined. Okay. So in order to see that, I'm going to come up to the right and click again on, where's my mouse? The red teacher. Okay. So this is going to show you all of my students. So in this case, it's Miss Renfro, and how all of my kids did on each question. So on question number 1, I had 75.94% of my students get letter A, which was correct. Green means correct. Red are the wrong responses. So what I would do is go through all of the questions that they were given to find the top 5 lowest questions and the percentage. And then I'm also going to find the top celebrations. So my top 5 highest questions along with the TEK. So I can find the TEK up here right below the question number. So question 8 is 6.2B R, which R means readiness. Okay, so that's where I'm going to find that information. And what I'm filling out prior to coming to PLC is just these yellow sections right here. So the white sections would be what is filled out in PLC with my team. All right. So then the last part focuses on my actual specific students, okay? So there's 3 parts. There's the top 5 students of decrease and growth. So what that's doing is comparing your students' scores from this checkpoint to their last year's STAR test and finding your top 5 students that decreased in growth the most. Okay, so in order to find this information, I'm going to come back over here to Eduphoria, come up here to the top and go to student scores. Okay, put my little paper down so you can't see the students. So what this does is it shows my students, their ID number here, and then it shows you your approaches, meets, and masters. Okay, and then what score they actually got on the test. So I'm going to find the kids that have the lowest or the biggest drop from their STAR score to this checkpoint, and that's what's going in this top part right here. Okay, again, I'm only filling out the yellow part prior to PLC. Okay, so then the next section is closest to meets. So what I would do is, again, I would be looking on this same screen, finding the kids that had the percentages closest to meets. So in order for you to be able to know this, you would have to see what a student had to get in order to receive meets. Okay, so 6th grade ELAR is going to have a different percentage than 7th grade ELAR and 8th grade ELAR. 6th grade math would have a different meets percentage than 7th grade math and 8th grade math. So you need to know that information before you can identify those kids correctly. All right, and then the last section is the top 5 students scoring closest to masters. So you're going to do the same thing you did for meets, except you're going to find the ones that are closest to the masters. So again, you would have to know what a student has to get masters in order for you to identify those particular students. Okay. I just want to apologize for this video because it's probably not the most technological driven video, but at least everybody gets the point and is able to find their data.